The legend Bill Belichick looks like an old guy with bad eyebrows when Tom Brady is not the quarterback. I shouldn't say bad eyebrows. I should just say old person eyebrows, not caring so much about plucking and grooming. I don't know what age that happens, but there has to be an age where men stop doing that, and Belichick is that age.
Do you believe that story that he's sticking around just to stick it to Don Shula?
It's such a great report that Don Shula said something during Spygate, because Don Shula is the face of integrity, and he doesn't like cheaters. I don't believe that report, that Belichick would stick around for this particular suffering. He lives for last night. His team may have lost.
He does.
He won last night, yes. When Belichick comes to the party and can make it shitty for everybody, I don't want to watch this. What are you doing? You're taking away the best thing? I want to watch Tyreek Hill run all over the field. Don't take that from me. I've been watching football all day. Right. Don't be Maximum Belichick on a Sunday night trying to throw into the end zone at the end of the game to tie a game you should have never been tying.
He spiked the shit out of that challenge flag.
He really did. Yep. He was angry.
Can we talk for a second about that? Let's talk for a second about just that. Because I think 100 years from now, when we're trying to explain Belichick and just football to an age of people who don't understand it, we will do it this way. Okay, yeah. So the genius reaches into his sock. This is $1 billion sport. Reaches into the sock, not his pockets. I don't know. He thinks
there should be holsters by now.
Yes. Put it on the poll, please, Juju, at Batard Show. Should the coach have a challenge flag holster? But genius coach bends over wearing, his hobo chic.
Pull up the sweatpant, not just the sock. Pull over the sweatpant.
Right.
To get to the sock.
He's been wearing that sock for 3 days. You don't know if it matches the other sock because he just reaches into a bin to get dressed for the game. So the genius reaches in. He could have done this at any time, but he chose to angrily spike the flag as the ref was kneeling right next to him just to embarrass him. Throws the restaurant napkin on the floor. And it's because Belichick loves taking a giant shit in the middle of the gala.
What do you do? Like, if you're the official, because I was thinking about this when I saw the spike, right? If you're the official and you don't want to get shown up by Bill Belichick, who's doing this right in front of your face just to try to embarrass you, what if you do the thing where you're like, oh, is that a bird? Like, you're just looking around and you pretend like you don't see it on the ground because he didn't do, like, an actual throw. So you could pretend like, oh, I didn't see – oh, it just fell from your waist.
Is that a bird?
Yeah. Oh, what's that up there? Good
Is that a bird?
Yeah, one of those things. You pretend to not see it. Can you do that? Probably not.
No.
You can't do that, Billy.
No.
He's got a lot of stuff in his sock. Is it all flags?
Wait a minute. Do you think were there many things in the sock? You think there are lumps in the sock?
Yes.
If he's putting one thing in a sock, he's putting a lot of things in a sock.
Exactly right. Put it on the poll, please, at Batard Show. If you're putting one thing in your sock, are you putting a lot of things in your sock?
Chapstick.
There's cash in there for sure.
Nail clippers.
Nail clippers?
Yeah, for Bill.
You know that Bill's like the kind of guy that when he goes on vacation, because I was this person as a child, because I was sent, on like school trips or whatever. You know that they used to have like, it was almost like a fanny pack that you wore underneath your clothes where you hid like all your cash or whatever. Bill Belichick very much strikes me like someone who like, if he's in New York for whatever reason, he's like, gotta put my money in my sock just in case.
Well, the sock is his wallet. You're right. Yeah.
Put it on the poll, please, Juju. Is the sock Belichick's wallet? When he pulls up the sweatpants, are you guys not assuming that the sock will be one of those that has vertical stripes at the top of it, like a 1970s coach's sock that goes over the calf?
I'm surprised it's not like the black dress sock. You know what I mean? Like, he strikes me as someone who just wears dress socks all the time. The kind that loses the elastic right away that you have to kind of get rid of, but he doesn't want to, so they kind of just sag a little bit. He wears the sad dress socks, I think.
You have him wearing tube socks?
Yeah, tube socks with the stripes from the 70s.
I picture that more than the dress sock.
Yeah,
I don't know what I'm doing there.
No, I think I'm with you.
I think it's an age thing. I think it's old people that I just assume wear the dress socks that lose the elastic right away.
Stugotz. Last week, Billy shocked all of us by not only putting Jason Sanders on notice, but then escalating it very quickly to the higher standard of being put on notice, which is buck up, bucko. Buck up, bucko was the previous highest standard. But Sanders, again, they're 2-0 in games Sanders has been begging to give away at the end.
He seems to think that I'm playing around when I put him on notice and I say buck up, bucko. And I didn't want to do this. People think that I root against players when I do stuff like this. Like, people were tweeting at me. They thought that I was very happy that this happened. I'm not happy. I want him to make his field goals and his extra points. Why would I be happy about this? I don't like putting people on notice. I don't like these things, Dan.
You did more than that. You did buck up bucko. Is there another stage? Because last night,
things were escalated.
That game last night, Stugotz, the Dolphins thoroughly handled that game. And at the end, the Patriots were able to scare you in a game they had no business doing anything in, because when the Patriots now, that offense, and it's got to be exasperating to Belichick. He had Brady, and now it'll take him 2 months to come back into the lead from down 14. Mac Jones isn't going to beat you down the field. Those receivers aren't going to beat you down the field. Belichick strangleholded that game. I don't know what the Dolphins have, 8, 9, 10 possessions. Like, it was just a shitty game.
He shortened the game.
Throw slants, throw bubble screens. All of this is going to be awful to watch. And the Dolphins had a chance to lose it at the end. And in previous incarnations of the Dolphins, especially against the Patriots, I expected them to lose it when they make the bobble snap on 3rd and 1, when they miss the field goal. But now I trust them. I do trust them, and I don't fear Belichick and what he's got at all. That's a huge change, Stugotz. The Dolphins, when they're in 3rd and 9 and have the ball on offense, you think they're going to convert it. The Patriots are 3rd and 9. You have very little fear that they're going to do anything. It's going to be a slant, and Mac Jones is going to have to be super accurate.
It is a huge change, but, you kind of saw it coming over the last couple of years, where you knew Belichick's teams were not going to be as good because he lost Brady, because he has Mac Jones, and the Dolphins they keep getting better, Dan. I'm not certain they're not the best team in the NFL. I know it's 2 weeks in, but they're certainly the most.
Wait a minute.
Dan, they're so good and so fun to watch.
Philadelphia just did this twice. Philadelphia was better last year.
I understand, but they're 2-0. They haven't played a home game yet.
That was not fun to watch last night. That was not fun to watch.
Because of Belichick, not because of the Dolphins.
But I'm saying that was not a fun watch, but compared to what we got week 1. Last night, Belichick.
Wins are fun.
Wins are fun, but the Dolphins, you can't do this to me, Stugotz. You can't do week 1 Super Bowl, week 2 best team I've ever seen.
I didn't say best team I've ever seen. I just said they're a very talented team. To say they're the best team in the NFL, I don't think is a stretch, Dan. I've had Chris Sims tell me and Billy they're the most talented team top to bottom, period, in the NFL. And that's including the Eagles.
I think yesterday what was a good sign for the Dolphins and Dolphins fans was, well, you could say defense, but also Raheem Mostert, there were some questions because he wanted to have one of those premier running backs come in here in the offseason, and they didn't do that. And it's kind of if they take away the receivers, Raheem Mostert can do just fine by himself.
Well, that was nice to see. I would have liked, if this offense is what I think it can be against everybody, Belichick included, I would have liked for them to just keep the ball the rest of the game, the way that they almost did, because the Patriots weren't really a threat at any point in that game, Stugotz. You weren't playing trailing. You didn't have to fight back against the Patriots. You're basically just warding them off at the end because they're hanging around. But that right there is slowing and neutering Tyreek Hill as much as anyone has or can. He took that away.
And they had the adjustment. That was the most encouraging part for me, is that you saw Mike McDaniel show what he's got as a play caller. He's like, okay, you're going to take this away, then I'm just going to run these zone runs and beat you to death with it. It was just really cool that Mike McDaniel seemed to have a plan for Belichick's plan.
They are 2-0, Stugotz, and I should mention, as Stugotz just did, that Billy and Stugotz to beat the NFL rush. Good Morning Football is now coming on at 7 a.m.
God bless football.
Sorry.
That's a fine, yeah.
Big
one.
No.
Okay.
I saw what you're
Save
doing
it.
there.
Go
Other
ahead.
one. No,
Save it.
It's not Save It.
Okay.
Good Morning Football starts at 7 a.m. You guys, God bless football. Look at that, man. You guys are aggressive finers. I said that correctly.
Nice save, Luongo. Lou.
I was just
Big save.
saying that God bless football is trying to beat the rush because Good Morning Football, a totally different entity.
Yes.
Good Morning Football on the NFL Network. They found a lane, Stugotz, and the lane is we have fun with football on Monday mornings. It's not just we're going to do it serious style and analyze it. We're going to do a fun show, and we're going to beat everyone to the rush of whatever Monday morning television is with a 7 a.m. show. And God bless football. Can't be bothered to get up that early. Stugotz can't be bothered to show up on time.
I was early today.
Ish.
He was early. I was still getting my makeup done when he was there.
Thank you.
God bless football rushed in. What are the thoughts that you and Billy have on the Dolphins that aren't redundant and stolen from God bless football and you reheating leftovers? Can you give me some original thoughts, because you put them on God bless football, and I would like some original, not reruns. If you want their most authentic, excited about themselves, their own opinions, you can get that on God bless football.
In fairness, most of the opinions you're getting now are fresh, because what happened was we kind of got stuck talking about Steve Spurrier's restaurant for a long time this morning.
The old ball coach. Yep.
I was stuck there for like 7 hours this weekend.
I am fine for the incarnation of this show being where you guys give your serious football analysis, and God bless football where you talk for 2 hours on a Monday morning about Steve Spurrier's
Well, also
restaurant.
we played Lucy or Goosey, and we had props for that.
Yeah, we did.
Great game.
Yeah.
Lucy or
Great game.
Goosey.
Yeah,
Because,
guess
Dan, none
who
of
came
us,
up with it.
we don't know who's good in college football. No one does, but Lucy does, because she cares about that sport and that thing in a way that we don't. Lucy and Jess, I would say they're the biggest college football fans we have, and so we're trying to figure out who's who before an enormous slate, and do we have a weekend coming up? We're trying to figure out who's who before the country does, and therefore we played Lucy or Goosey with Lucy this morning. She told us who's who.
Who's Goosey?
Well, Goosey means she's not really, you know.
You're going to have to listen. You're going to have to listen. We also did,
Lucy
Dan,
good.
week 2 contenders, pretenders, so you can get that. Also, before we get too far off of this, we can't get this. We can't get away from Jason Sanders, because we were starting to get in that direction, and then we started breaking down the game. Last week he was put on notice, Dan.
It was more than that. You went to Buck Up Bucko. You immediately went. I don't know what the scales of this are, but I've never seen you get to putting anyone on notice, and you went immediately past that to Buck Up Bucko. What's beyond that?
Well, here's the situation, is that I am, I think, a generous person, but he's kind of weighing on my patience here. You know what I mean? A lot of coaches would just have cut him from this team already. I'm not going to do that. I'm also not a coach, so
The
it's
win's
not within
help.
my power.
Right.
Yeah.
The win. He's lucky they're winning.
He's lucky that they're winning, but I also don't like the fact that people are saying, like, oh, Mike McDaniel shouldn't have had him kick a 55-yard field goal. That's not really his game. Yes, it is his game. His game is kicking field goals. The distance is the distance. Kick a field goal, kick it through the uprights. That's your job, okay? And I don't want to be the one to tell him that. I don't want to be a do-your-job guy, but this is going to start costing the Dolphins at some point in time. So, Dan, we're gonna have to raise it a little bit.
Do your job guy is not beyond Buck Up Bucko? What is the raised up status? What is
Here's
it?
the situation. It was Buck Up Bucko last week. This week, unfortunately, we've reached probably the ultimate or penultimate warning. Shape up or ship out.
No.
Wow.
No.
Wow.
Oh, that's it?
Shape up or ship out.
Amazing.
Well, what does that mean? Next one, Mr. Gone?
Shape up or ship out. He doesn't want to find out. I don't want him to find out. So shape up.
Cost us a game and you're out.
Or ship out.
It feels like.
You
know?
got to be proactive there. You got to do it before he costs you the game. You're saying next mistake, you're gone, because he hasn't cost him a game, but he's made the mistake that could cost you both games.
I'm saying shape up or ship out. And I
That's
don't
all
want
you're
I don't want
saying.
him to know what's next. I don't want him to know
But
what's
I
next.
feel like ship out's pretty clear.
Shape
Yes.
up or ship out. Nope. Shape up or ship out.
Shape up or
It's a
ship
strong.
out.
It's a strong warning. It's shape up or ship out. Dan, you'll learn this when you're a parent. This is what happens. Sometimes you make these threats.
Fake threats.
You make these
Fake threats is
All
a
the
huge
time.
thing with
and you
parenting.
hope that they
Never
work.
follow through.
You hope that they work, and you don't really have a next step in mind at the time. Like when I said Buck Up Bucko, I thought that was harsh enough, and we weren't going to have to get to shape up or ship out. But here we are. Now, if I'm going to be completely transparent here, I don't know what's next. I don't know what's next. But I'm going to have to figure it out if he makes me figure it out. And that's a big part of parenting. I like to think of myself as Jason Sanders' father, not his coach, not a fan, his father. I want things to work out for him. Shape up or ship out.
Don't make me turn this season around.
Put it on the poll, please, Juju, at Batard Show. Is the key to good parenting fake threats?
Yep.
I fake call Santa every time I babysit.
Really?
Whoa, bleep that out.
Spoiler alert.
Wow. Well, no, Santa's
We're
real.
live.
She just pretends to call him. She doesn't
Yeah,
have
no,
Santa's phone
he's
number.
real.
You have to write him a letter.
I'm just
Duh.
pretending to call him. I open up the calculator.
Tread lightly. I've been yelled at for this before.
Calling Santa on a calculator?
We've just got to be careful with
Just
some
Santa.
of this stuff. Let's go back for a second, because Stugotz 2-0 is 2-0.
It is. Win's a win, Dan.
He's 5-0 against Belichick.
I still fear, in general, the Bills, because it feels like they can do that to anybody on a good day, what they did to the Raiders. But traditionally, when the Miami Dolphins have anything that resembles hope, it goes and gets extinguished up there when it is pointed out to you, oh, whatever you thought was so about your team is not so. To your point that Chris Sims says on God Bless Football, that the Dolphins are as talented as anybody. They're not quite as star-powered as anyone. I enjoyed seeing Jalen Ramsey in full uniform in a commercial last night. Full uniform because no one knows what he looks like, so they have to put him in the uniform. Jamar Chase was not wearing his uniform.
He wasn't supposed to wear it. He thought it was a dress rehearsal, Dan. Get it?
Yes, thank you, Billy, for the great layers. Put it on the poll here at Le Batard Show. When you say get it after a joke, have you made a good joke at Le Batard Show?
If you have to ask.
If you have to ask if the other person who did not laugh or just looked at you with an icy stare because he did not think it was funny or clever in any way, when you double down on it with get it, yeah, doesn't make it better. Jalen Ramsey is in full uniform in a commercial. This Dolphins team is injured. I feel for the body of Armstead. It's 2 weeks in, and he's already hobbled and limping around, and every game is he going to play, is he not going to play? But they've held up fine on offensive line without him, which is a bit startling to me, and tells me, Stugotz, that they're scheming when they're first in the league in motion and second in the league in play action. They're controlling. You can take away something. You won't take away everything. They'll score 24 points on a game when you're squeezing the football.
Yes.
And you're not gonna hold them to 10 points. You might be able to slow Tyreek Hill, but then Waddle will show you he's the second fastest guy on the field.
You take away Hill, Waddle has a big game. You take away Hill, the running game, Mostert has a big game. They ran the ball very well, Dan, against that defense. 30 times, 145 yards, 2 touchdowns. The biggest thing last night for me, you know the offense is good. It's talented. It's good. The defense was great. Like the Fangs came out last night, Dan.
Was he down on the field?
I would say the Patriots are not good at offense, and the Dolphins were fine on defense. But to me, what makes this team something that everyone in America is saying, oh, maybe, it's that in that game, Stugotz, and this is something the Dolphins, I don't think they've been able to say it since Duper and Clayton. You're watching that game. The Dolphins are being stifled, but then one of the guys who runs 4-3 because they're faster than you are at the skill positions, you can't stop their bubble screens and the slants. Not with the accuracy of this quarterback who threw maybe 5 inaccurate passes last night, but everything else is where it's supposed to be. They're faster than you are. Mm-hmm. Their top 3 guys are 4-3, 4-3, 4-3, and the one who beat you is the one no one talks about, the guy who ran 40 yards on a running play, because you got to stop the other fast guys. And you're scared that their accuracy on passing feels like handoffs because you're surprised when Tua gets intercepted. And the only place you're going to intercept him is down the field like that, 40 yards down the field, because otherwise he's going to be insanely accurate. But it's the Patriots, and they're the bottom of the division. They're the worst you got. It's not going to look like that against the Bills.
I feel like Mac Jones is actually not the problem there. It's the fact that they're trying to, with former Dolphins guys like Parker and Gesicki, he has no one to throw to. The fact that Parker's his big threat, I felt terrible for them.
Hunter Henry.
Man, I was just laughing. Just on my couch. Just they have Parker and Gesicki.
It must be so frustrating to
Brady would turn that into a Super Bowl.
So frustrating to Belichick. I'll just get guys who aren't Gronk, the 6'6" guys, throw it to their paw in the general vicinity of their paw in the seam. But their receivers aren't any good. And I can't imagine what it is to be a Patriots fan now, where you had 20 years of unprecedented at quarterback. Every game at the end, you expected to win that the way that it was going. How terrified would the Dolphins have felt last night if it was still Brady at 45 in the huddle at the end of that game? You'd still be terrified. And to go from that to, oh my God, they're constipated on offense. Nobody wants to watch this. Nobody in the sport wants to watch the Patriots play, including Patriots fans, because they're the bottom of the division, and worse than that, they're uninteresting. They're not as athletic as other people. They're going to try and scheme you to death because it's all they got.
I thought watching the Patriots' downfall would be more enjoyable. Maybe it is if you're a division rival.
It's great.
But I actually just feel a little sad. It would have been better if this happened while Tom Brady was still there, but he's not, and I feel a little bad for Belichick now. And I never thought I'd feel that way.
You wanted to see the downfall with Tom Brady?
Are you doing the league is better when the Patriots are good conversation?
Absolutely not. I think I thought in the back of my mind, when the Patriots got worse, that means my team would be doing better.
Yeah.
But that's probably only true for the Dolphins.
Yeah.
Lucy, you have pointed out that as soon as Belichick and Saban made their documentary, as soon as they did, both of them were like, yawn, we don't want to watch you anymore. What was that at South Florida, Alabama? Why are you winning a game 17-3 and you're tied most of the game against South Florida, maybe the 6th best team in Florida?
It's because they're not very good. That's the worst Alabama team I've ever seen in my lifetime. Like, they are just not put together whatsoever. Their offensive line is terrible. They don't have a quarterback. Like, I have never seen an Alabama team play so bad. And honestly, I kind of loved it.
Seems like you're goosey. I mean,
Who do they play next, though? Because give me Alabama with a
Ole
small
Miss.
spread. Give me
Ole Miss,
Ole
Lane
Miss.
Kiffin. Yeah.
Lane Kiffin, Nick
give me
Saban this
a,
weekend.
Give me a single-digit spread for Alabama.
Have you seen the slate this weekend?
Is it good?
Oh, my, I love a good slate.
I love it.
And so do you. Go
Jessica,
check it out and report back.
Jessica, Alabama, are you willing? It's only a couple of weeks in. These things, one of the great things about doing college football power rankings, Stugotz, is they're college kids. They go on the road, things happen, they're inconsistent, and Tennessee, Lucy covered this. Lucy did this better than we've had it done at Meadowlark Media. She bombed the swamp and made it explode with drunken interviews. I don't think that Meadowlark Media has enough in the lane of we interview drunk people. I'd like it as a lane. The swamp, Florida beats Tennessee. And I think all of us would have argued before that game, yeah, Tennessee has a ton of athletes. They're as athletic as anybody. And their quarterback is not great.
Did you listen to Jess and I's college football podcast?
I did
Or
not. That
segment?
was last Thursday or Friday?
Last Thursday, we called it. We called it.
You said the Gators would win.
Here's
Yeah.
the thing about
Right.
Joe Milton. He
Is that
can
how we're
throw
doing
an
the
orange
analysis, though?
100
Excuse me.
yards.
The analysis in college football is we got that right? Because that's how Kornheiser and Wilbon do it.
Yes.
We
Yeah.
correctly predicted
That's
that.
how you do it.
I got it right, and then I went to a frat party, the way things should be.
It's worked for them for like
So
20
great.
years, Dan. Why break the formula, you know?
Yep.
You were saying, Jessica.
He can throw an orange 100 yards, which I think I could also do. But, like, do it accurately with a football, and then I'll take notice.
I have.
He looked very inaccurate.
I have a video team in my ear claiming that you guys actually you kind of sat on the fence and you said that Tennessee would win, but that you said Florida might win. Wow. You guys kind of sat on the fence a little bit.
I think the holdup was that I did not have a lot of faith in Florida's quarterback, Graham Mertz, and he proved me wrong. He played fine. They looked very good. But I think that is a fair take because he has not been the most impressive quarterback in Florida.
But we can agree, right, that Tennessee, that going from Hooker to Milton is a huge downgrade. Milton's got a giant arm and is wildly inaccurate. That's not how even minor league quarterbacks are playing anymore.
They haven't changed their offense at all to adjust to the fact that Joe Milton is not Hendon Hooker, and all he has is the deep threat, and they don't have the receivers they had last year who could create so much separation. Like, Tennessee's offense is built for last year's team, not the team they have right now.
Milton, not a good name for a sports athlete. It's just Joe Milton. It gives off the guy from The Office.
Eric Milton.
Put it on the poll. Thank you, Stugotz. Excellent
Office
contribution.
Space, not The Office.
At Lebatard Show.
It's a fun.
Which guy?
Is Milton
Stapler?
a good name
Stapler?
for an athlete?
I think if Milton's your first name, it's a good name for an athlete.
No, it's a bad name.
Milton Bradley.
Yeah,
Okay,
but
that's one.
still not
That's all I got.
Mackenzie Milton wasn't bad.
not great though.
I'm with Chris, I think, on this. We will get back to the other things that happen in college football. But, Stugotz, I went out to the Bethune-Cookman Miami game.
Why?
To do
On
some,
purpose?
To do some
What?
To do some reporting. And I talked to the people who are running the money, the NIL money.
Mike.
What'd he say?
Not
Just pick up the phone next
Mike
time.
is close to those people. Mike has some common acquaintances with those people, but Mike is not the treasurer for the University of Miami NIL. He's just a loud, obnoxious booster who does give money and is a hobnobber and a mover and shaker. But this was not Mike I was talking to.
Okay.
And even though it's Bethune-Cookman, there is a noticeable difference in the way Van Dyke gets to play football when his offensive line is that good. And it was explained to me, they've got the best offensive line that money can buy. And so that's how we're playing college football now. It's just amazing. But Van Dyke looks, I'm like, why did he go from a first-round pick to always injured? And I felt bad for him all of last year. And people were talking about, this is a first-round pick. I have not seen it. I saw it when he started. And then last year was a disaster. He's limping around. His shoulders always hurt. And now he stands back there, and I know it's Bethune-Cookman. However, he did it to Texas A&M as well. And what I'm telling you is that will be a different quarterback if he's never hit. All he's doing is throwing their receivers aren't even that good. Their receivers will get good next year when they can buy the best receivers money can buy.
They couldn't fit it into the budget this year.
They couldn't fit it into the budget this year. Evidently in Colorado. Stugotz, Colorado's about to get exposed and people are going to enjoy it because their offensive and defensive lines are not big enough. Yet. Soon those offensive and defensive lines will not get mauled by the USCs and Oregons when Deion's claiming he sold $1.2 million in sunglasses last weekend.
Right. That's crazy. If Deion stays, of course.
I was just going to say, so you have him there next year.
Right. I mean, Son's leaving.
It would have to be another college team because he's got a salary cap in the pros. He is not going to be a professional coach. The advantages are here where he could just travel with a bus full or a plane full of his kids.
What if he could coach his son in the NFL?
I don't think he wants to do salary caps, Stugotz. I think he wants no rules. It's a good place. It's a good lane for Deion.
It's a great lane, yes.
And I don't know what the numbers are. I've not seen what the numbers did, but prime time was not Florida-Tennessee on Saturday. Prime time was prime time. It was 10 p.m. There were a whole lot of people watching a time slot that people don't normally watch, and it wasn't a rapper anymore who wants to be close to the electricity of that's a really black team that's having a party on the field, throwing it in your face, and making it before the game about you insulted my mother. The game's totally dirty. It's a dirty game on both sides. And Deion Sanders is a star in all the commercials, welcomed all of sports broadcasting into town so that, and I'm holding my head here because I can't believe I'm saying it, Stugotz, prime time is not Florida, Tennessee at 7 p.m. Prime time is where's the rock, where's the fame, where's the fun? A college player I know, not just uniforms. Now these are Deion's kids. What an amazing story that is. Not a lot you get like that in college football where the father is the quarterback's father. The son is this is a father-son story. They're doing television commercials together as a family, and I'm guessing they're going to do the biggest number somehow, and this is the part I can't believe I'm saying, Saturday night at 10 p.m. in Boulder.
Dan, take it from me. Nepotism isn't always good in college football, okay?
Debatable. And now at least Shiloh Sanders is a Sanders now that he made that interception, the safety. You never heard about him. People are just now learning. There's another Sanders that plays on this team, and you saw after he got that interception, Deion puts a chain on him, and it was almost like he was saying, you are now my son.
Right. Welcome to the Sanders household.
But he said that. He wasn't shy about saying that. It was that. I was not fooled by this. He says he favors his sons.
Yeah, he ranks them, I think.
He ranks his kids.
Yeah.
Yep.
Kind of uncomfortable.
Don't we all?
Mm-hmm. Secretly.
Who's your favorite?
Go ahead,
Billy?
Stu.
Oh, no, I wouldn't. No.
We know Stu's favorite, actually. I don't even know why I asked.
Emma.
Well, because I thought, based on the looks on your faces, that everyone had a whole lot of opinions on ranking your kids, and then everyone just stared at each other. That's what happened.
Well, it's like an unspoken thing, Dano.
Yeah. Right.
You know, everyone's got the thoughts, but it's like
keep them to yourself.
You can't really say it.
You want to reveal which kid you like better.
It's incredibly mean.
Yeah.
Kids
Costs you a
rank their
ton in
parents.
therapy. Yeah.
I have a favorite parent for sure.
Really?
Shout out my dad.
I don't think I have a favorite parent.
Yeah.
That can't be true.
I
know
love them
you do.
equally. Yeah, I do.
It's not Greg.
Neither of my kids have thrown a touchdown or gotten an interception yet, so I don't have a way to accurately
I feel
favor
like
them.
I would love the one who was
not the way to
worse.
do it.
Like you have Rachel who plays sports.
Yeah.
You should love the other one better.
I just said Emma.
Yeah,
Yeah,
good.
the other one. Yeah. Dan, back to Colorado for a second. It's amazing to me. It really is that this university, this program was so bad the last 5 to 10 years. And they have, on a bad game, Colorado State is not a big-time game. But they have not one, but 2 pregame shows out at Boulder. It's a bad slate of games. But it is amazing how quickly Deion has turned this around and made them the biggest spectacle in the sport. I do find it funny, however, that they were favored by 23 points at home against Colorado State. It's a team they should have blown out at home, primetime game, at home. Fans are all juiced up. They're ready to go. And after the game, a close game, a game that Colorado State, frankly, should have won, okay? And what we say is we say they're resilient. That's what we do. Like, what are we doing? No one's going to criticize Deion Sanders about anything? We can't criticize Deion and the way his kids played? We can't do that because they should have beaten Colorado State by 30 points at home in that environment.
All right, I will say again, okay?
And they wheezed to a victory.
Stugotz,
they're resilient.
Stugotz.
What are we doing?
All right, Stugotz, put the expectations wherever you would like. He has already exceeded them. Florida State went to Boston College, should have lost as well. BC had 18 penalties. Mm-hmm. Yes, he should have lost at home on Saturday night because Colorado State had 16 penalties and played a dirty game and was up 8, and they had to go the length of the field. What are we doing? The star quarterback, with all the pressure of the team, everyone watching, said, I'm going Brady mode. He's wearing a Rolex. I'm going Brady mode. I've got to go 98 yards, and we're going to get the 6 points, and we're going to get the 2-point conversion, and then we're going to beat you in a game where, at halftime, I saw the internet. Everyone's waiting to pounce on loudmouth Deion. Let him lose. They will be there. It's going to happen the next couple of weeks because where they've raised the expectations.
Well, it's Oregon and USC
but
next 2 weeks.
They've already won. They've won.
No doubt.
And people will watch them lose, and he's made the program matter. Hard stop.
Yes.
And so you can criticize them all you want. Somehow, he's on 60 Minutes last night. Does that still mean anything to anyone?
No. And 60 Minutes should be ashamed of themselves. I'm serious.
Yeah, that was something this morning.
You know what? I don't need, after 48 hours of football from 60 Minutes, more football. That's not what I go to 60 Minutes for. I mean, give me a world leader. Give me someone who's curing cancer. Give me someone who's doing something productive. Give me anybody. Do not do what Pat McAfee. If I want to hear from Deion, I will go to the show with the biggest guest in America, and that, of course, is Pat McAfee. If I want to hear from Deion, I will go to College Game Day. If I want to hear from Deion, I will go to Skip Bayless on the day Michael Irvin is there. That's when I will hear from Deion Sanders, not on 60 Minutes. Give me someone more important, doing things way more important.
If I want to hear from Deion, I'm just going to turn on my TV and watch all the Aflac commercials.
Exactly. That was a terrible job by 60 Minutes, Dan. You got to agree.
You're watching 60 Minutes?
Not last night.
That's an upset.
He loves CBS Sunday morning.
I do.
But you'd rather
Jane
see
Pauley.
Yasser Arafat than Deion Sanders.
Give me Arafat. Yeah.
Unexpected from you.
Who is that?
Can CBS get their S together? I hate this whole thing that when games go long, it throws off the entire TV schedule for the rest of the night, and shows are starting like at 10:15. It's supposed to start at 9. We don't need 60 minutes. I'm just going to say that right now.
60 minutes.
We don't need to. It could be easily 43 minutes if football goes over. You know what I mean? Let's just keep the train on the tracks. We don't need the full 60 minutes every single week.
That's your season premiere, by the way. Like, you're kicking off the season with Deion?
Enough.
Oh, come on. He's on every show in America except this one.
Again, though, I would say star power. That is what Deion has done for you 3 games in. I'm more interested in a couple of other things here. One is I'd like to talk to the group about the standing of 60 Minutes in today's society, because that still means something to Deion to be on 60 Minutes.
Of course.
I don't think it means anything to the rest of us.
It's a legacy show.
It is a legacy show.
I have a whole list of them.
It's a compiler. Put it on the poll. You've got a list of legacy shows? All right.
I love it.
Put it on the poll at Batard Show. Is 60 Minutes a compiler? Because I think it's one of the greatest shows in the history of television. But it has faded as television has changed. But the most shocking thing here is the lie. And this is one of the world's great liars.
Whatever.
The idea that you actually prefer something with Arafat over Deion Sanders is such a load of bullshit that my head's about to explode. Like, what you're longing for is less football? Like, what the hell are you doing?
As soon as he started talking, I was like,
Like,
this is
your
such
words
fake outrage.
mean nothing.
What do you mean?
Your
60 minutes?
your words mean nothing.
60 minutes, do better.
Stugotz.
They have set the
Stugotz.
standard so high, set the bar so high.
Stugotz.
Give me something better,
Stugotz.
season premiere, than Deion
Stugotz,
Sanders,
you cannot
who was
come-
on with Pat
Stugotz,
McAfee 3
Stugotz,
times
You can't come in here as
this week.
who has refused to grow in the last 5 years in any human way and
Shrinking.
say, I want less football. I want less football on 60 Minutes when the only reason you watch 60 Minutes the last 15 years is when they're doing a sports interview. You are wildly full of shit. You're not here to talk about how it is the truffle pigs locate truffle.
Give me Anwar Sadat. I mean, give me a president. Give me someone who is doing something.
Did Deion not come on God Bless Football or something? Is that why you're going
I
after
don't
him a
know.
little
I'm not
bit?
going after Deion. I like Deion. It's amazing what he's done for Colorado in that sport. I do. I like Deion. But when we all celebrate him losing to Oregon or USC or both, it will be because of 60 Minutes in the media.
I'm rooting for him,
serious.
though. I don't want him to lose.
I don't either, Dan, but he's going to, and people are going to delight in it.
That is correct, but you sound, by raising the expectations, Stugotz, you've sounded for 2 weeks, you and Mike Ryan. He's doing the best, and you come in with some version of do better. You should have blown them out by 30 is not, hey, salute for the win.
I'm just saying that's a convenient way to cover Deion because we've all fallen in love with him, the program, and the way he is, and the things that he has done for college football, Dan. It's really on the media where they're afraid to criticize the guy. The team's resilient. No, the team didn't play well. They didn't play well.
They're 3-0.
They weren't prepared.
Stugotz, fine. As a big favorite.
It's okay to say it.
Just like FSU. You're not doing that to FSU today, but okay. FSU barely won by 2.
Oh, I would love to talk
and
about that
should have
game.
lost as
great game.
a top 5 team. Not Deion Sanders, not in the top 5.
Right.
And you don't care about that because the story in that sport is now that Deion Sanders has placed the expectations in a place where you're here to recoil against the backlash of the entire media like something. This is Internet 101, Stugotz. Internet 101 is the internet like something. How can I hate it? And now you've got polarizing, now you've got interesting, and now you've got what Deion Sanders has been for 30 years. But now his kids are also that, Stugotz, because Danny Cannell did what you did.
Right.
Oh, they're going to lose, they're going to lose, they're going to lose. You can't rush the field after being a big favorite and barely winning. And then on social media, Deion's kid does this to Danny Cannell and puts on social media, you are a pure hoe.
I didn't say they couldn't rush the field. You could rush the field.
I'm saying you're going to find the ways to criticize them because Deion wears sunglasses, because his mother didn't raise him right, whatever. They're the team everyone's going to be talking about. They somehow took it from Alabama in 3 weeks, Stugotz. Saban and Deion are in the same commercial. Who's the bigger star in college football right now?
Oh, I mean, it's not any question at all that Deion is the biggest star, player, coach, anybody in all of college football, all of college sports right now. It's far and away him.
He said he sold $1.2 million in eyeglasses by having, Stugotz, you have to understand.
I believe it, too.
What a marketing person this has been forever.
He's fantastic. Dan, you're not like, I know, like I followed Deion his entire career. Like you and I have been doing this together while Deion was going through his entire career. So I'm well aware of who he is and what he's all about. I love the story. I'm just saying it's funny in a close game because no one wants to criticize him yet. They will after he loses, that we just say his team's resilient. They didn't play that well. It's okay to say they didn't play that well. If they play like that against Oregon, they're going to get blown out.
Stugotz just wants Scott Pelley and Angela Merkel, Dan. That's all he's saying.
Give me some Merkel,
And you
some
know what?
Pelley, yeah.
That 60 Minutes clock, my entire life, heartburn.
Oh,
Every time I hear it,
the
I get
worst.
Sunday scaries and heartburn.
Well, let's
and
talk
I think
about
the world
this.
agrees with
Okay,
me.
let's talk about
worst.
this. Do you get, when the 60 minutes ticking starts, is it a time bomb on your life that gives you the scary Sundays?
Well, to be honest, like I really only hear it after golf now because during NFL Sundays I'm watching Red Zone, so
Right.
I miss the clock. But that clock, that
The 5 ticks before they start speaking, yeah.
Jessica,
Immediate
I
heartburn.
am
Pass
with
the
you.
puck down.
Jessica, I think you're right, and I think this is something I did not notice since childhood. I think what has happened is that clock is your weekend's over and your last 7 hours of sloth where you've been a gross person just watching football all day. 7 hours sitting in your own stink. And now here comes the primetime game. And you really, if we're being honest, have been doing it all weekend. You've been on the couch since the Colorado game Saturday night. And you're gross. You're a gross human being.
Your weekend's over. Yeah. You have heartburn. And now here's the saddest thing you've ever heard.
FOH clock, you know what I mean?
Right.
So what I'm saying, legacy show. Dan, I have my top 5 legacy shows if you want it. They still only exist because they're legacy shows.
But is this a compliment or is it an insult?
What do you mean?
To be a legacy show, because I don't think you like. I still love 60 Minutes.
You do not.
I
You don't
do.
watch
No,
it.
Dan loves that show.
no,
Journalism. Get out of here.
Billy, I am heartbroken that HBO Real Sports is leaving after 29 years.
That's still in the air?
There's still some outfits out here, and CBS Sunday Morning is one of them.
Yep.
Doing good work that I appreciate. I understand it's all TikToks, Billy, but 60 Minutes to me was like, now I get to be a little smart after my sloth. Now I get to learn something. I could be smarter. They're going to do difficult interviews with presidents. They're not going to be easy interviews.
So these are shows in my
Deion,
list.
Exactly.
These
Now
are-
you're coming around.
These are legacy shows that have like a big brand on them, and they still exist because no one has the chutzpah to say, you know what, hit the road, Jack.
That's not a compliment.
That's not.
Shape up or ship out? Is that before
No, we're
or
not
after
there yet.
hit
We're
the
not
road
there yet.
jack?
We're not there yet.
Is hit the road jack? That's after shape up or ship
You
out.
just
correct.
better hope we don't get there, buddy. That's what you say to your kids.
Where is that on the
That's
list?
what you say
You don't want to see what happens next.
That's the one.
Yeah.
That might be the next one. You don't want to see what's next.
Trust me, kid.
How many?
Cuidadito.
I like that's a different one.
Cuidadito.
That's a different one.
All right, OLI.
Spanish
Cuidadito.
fake threat. Wait a minute.
No, that wasn't a show. That was just
Billy,
a threat.
Like
before
Benedito was the show.
Billy-
You were just checking it out, making sure it's working.
Billy, after this top 5 legacy shows, I do need from you the hierarchy of fake threats.
In Spanish?
And no,
Oh,
because
okay.
no, I think
Don't make me
Spanish
do it.
cuidadito is higher than
Let me tell you
bucka
something, Dan.
bucko.
You don't want me to get to that list, okay? I'm just going to tell you that right now. You don't want me to get to that list. Number 5. No,
do want you to
OLI.
get
What
to
are we doing first?
We are doing top 5 legacy shows.
Okay. OLI.
OLI.
Yeah. Okay.
Sports Center.
No one has the chutzpah, huh?
That one hurts me.
Didn't even make the top 5 though.
It hurts me because I can just see the scores whenever I want. I don't need to go to Sports Center. It
I
hurts me
couldn't
to put that
disagree
on
more.
there.
I was watching SVP last night, and I was
was
just
too.
like, this is back, man. He's so good at this. Like, I love getting all the recaps. Like, I totally disagree. I love sports.
Well, he's great at it.
SVP
Yes.
specifically.
He's great at it, but SVP, listen, we know you're an Orioles fan. Don't kick off the Midnight Sports Center with the Orioles highlight. We didn't need that last
Oh,
night.
it's the best thing
Best
he saw.
thing he
was
saw.
it?
It doesn't matter. Right.
Oh, wait
He
a
goes out of his
minute.
way to not
No.
go football there. He
Billy,
does. He
Billy,
does.
Billy.
I'm on to him.
No one cares about the Orioles except
Wait
you.
a minute. It's his show.
I get it, but come on.
Hold on. It's his show.
Yeah.
He's a star where they're going to pay 6 or 7 people the giant dollars. And he's lifting Sports Center on his shoulders because it is something you
it's a
have to
legacy
view.
show. No one wants to cancel it.
No one has the chutzpah.
Listen, I like the Marlins. They had a great series this weekend. We didn't start with the Marlins today because that's not what people
The
wanted to
Orioles
hear.
Wasn't the best thing he saw.
No, the Orioles are such a great story, and it's his team, and he's going to do his show. I love that.
Yeah, well. Number 5, 60 Minutes.
Unbelievable. I
Number
think I'm
4.
with Jessica on that, though. Put it on the poll, Juju, at Batard Show. Does the
Nailed
give
it.
you heartburn and acid?
I have it right now from just doing it. I need a Tums. Tums me.
Number 4, The Tonight Show.
Oh, wow.
Get out of here.
Not very good.
Late night is dead.
Have you guys seen that all the late night hosts are doing a podcast now, and it's not. They're trying to do the smart list thing, like let's
Yeah.
get a bunch of big celebrities, and it's just. I've seen some clips, and it's just it's.
Oh,
they're
you mean
forcing
they need
it.
their writers?
Yes, it's just like, oh man, Jimmy Fallon just shooting the breeze is not the
Hey,
same Jimmy Fallon.
Are we striking or are we not? Can we? Are we striking or are we not?
Right.
People are just
Barrymore.
making appearances here, appearances there. I'm not going to promote this, but I'm still going to come here. Strike or don't. Okay? Enough. Number 3.
They're trying to make some money for their staff.
They have money.
Okay.
They're good.
Right.
Number 3,
Just
VMAs.
give him some money. I mean,
Sell a house.
Sell a house. Yeah, they should
Don't
be
burden us
realtors.
with free content, okay? Or do it better.
Number 3, the VMAs.
It's one of the top 10 podcasts in America because it's those
is?
5 guys
That's
together.
that trick that everything's in the
Right.
top 10 at the beginning first week. I mean,
do it for
Stugotz
a couple
is
of
bigger
years.
than Oprah, exactly.
Yeah,
right.
exactly.
If I wanted 5 guys, I could go to 5 guys. Okay.
Right.
Number 2,
Love
Good
Five
Morning
Guys.
America.
Bag of fries.
Put it on the poll, Juju. Do you love 5 guys?
Peanuts.
Pause.
Good Morning America is still a thing, is it not?
GMA.
It still exists, yeah, but
No, it's a thing. It's a ratings thing because do I have this wrong? I was of the opinion that while just about everyone listening to this, young people, they would tell you, yeah, we're off the grid now. We don't watch television the way you used to watch television. We don't watch late night television. We watch when we want to watch. It's all changed, but I still think there are a great number of people who still watch network television. The transition has not just happened. The majority of people are still watching television the old way. Many of them have cable, yes, but I don't think streaming has taken over half of America yet.
Well, like these shows still have huge audiences and get millions of viewers, but it's declining and it's less like culturally relevant than it was 10 years ago when it was your only kind of live source of information in the morning. Now I don't need to watch it to see what's happening.
You're telling me that Good Morning America is not still a thing with people leaving their homes in the morning all over our country?
I don't know what that means.
Yes, it is, but if it went away, no one would miss it. I mean,
No one's
maybe
leaving home anymore.
Strahan would, I guess.
This is what I'm saying to
lazy.
you. I did not think all of these other shows you have mentioned, I can see how time has passed them by. I believe that most people listening to this are living differently than we are here. And I think that Good Morning America are the ratings in the tank? It's still the biggest morning show there is it not?
After a quick Google, it looks like they still have like average 3 million viewers an episode, but it's not as culturally relevant as it was 15.
You're
20
giving
years
far
ago.
too much weight to my list, Dan, I will say. I appreciate it, but number one, Saturday Night Live. I dare someone to
100%.
cancel that show.
Right.
Cancel it.
No one will.
No one will even know. Half the time it's reruns. No one knows when it's new, when it's old. It could go.
No one will know.
I am curious how bad, Chris, because I have not heard it. I saw that the idea that Fallon and Kimmel, that all the late night guys, of course, they're now old guys that come from a different time in comedy. This is not like this thing used to be the most vibrant thing on television, late nights, but streaming has gobbled it up. And now those 5 guys are just trying to go viral. They're trying to get you to watch it in the morning. And the 5 of them are trying to do something here that takes timing and chemistry. Just putting 5 people together, no matter how funny they are, doesn't just work like the Smartless podcast. They've been friends all their lives, those guys. And so you need chemistry, but that podcast, by virtue of the star power on it, opened huge. Now the content has to carry it. The Kelsey brothers are carrying that content. People want to hear from them on 2 very good football teams. That podcast is exploding. But you can't just put 5 famous people together. Every podcast is doing that now. Just like everyone in sports has noticed McAfee, everyone in entertainment has noticed the Smartless guys have a giant podcast property on their hands. What do? They interview their friends who are huge celebrities, and they all have fun together, and we get to see a different side of them. It's a monster business that they've got on the side.
They kind of threw a bone to Seth Meyers. I was like, what's he doing here?
Right.
I mean, is it the late night
They
show
felt bad?
podcast?
Right.
I mean, jeez.
Yeah. Someone asked in that meeting, should we include Seth or because he wasn't in the original meeting. You're right.
He's
one that
Gen
don't hurt.
Z's favorite. That's why they put him on there. Gen Z loves Seth Meyers.
They're all over 40, yes? Are they all over 45, 50? How old are
They're all over 45. Like,
the reason I asked the question is because young people make everything popular. If you want to know where late night goes to die, it's right there. That we always do the same things, hire the same people, and a generation comes behind them, and it's like, that's not how I want to do television. I don't care that, hey, Grandpa Batard, I don't care that 60 Minutes mattered to you. 60 Minutes to me still is out here doing great work as news resources are being cut all over. Yeah, and that noise does the same thing to me. My weekend's over is what it signals. My weekend's done.
Fallon is 48. He's the youngest.
Colbert is 60.
And they need their writers. They all need their writers. You will see.
Jimmy Kimmel's 55. He looks good.
Double nickel.
Drew Barrymore pulled back. She's very sad about breaking solidarity, but I don't think Bill Maher is changing what he's doing, Stugotz, and he needs his writers. I would argue, Stugotz, even though Bill Maher is an extraordinary comedian, has been great for 40 years, I'd argue that Bill Maher, when he says that he's not doing new rules or any of that stuff, it's because those things take 20 writers to do every week. 20, when the expectation is you got to hit every joke. Not even Bill Maher's that good. And he also can't be writing as well, Stugotz, because it would be breaking the strike for him to do too much writing. So he's just going to do a show where he interviews some people and they talk about politics on a stage. And it's not going to be very good, but I'm sure that hour will be something that breaks solidarity, even as he's trying to file it under, I'm trying to help my lowest compensated.
I'm still reeling. I'm still shocked that SportsCenter was on Billy's list.
Well, it was on OLI, yeah.
Right. But, I mean, no one has the chutzpah to cancel it.
What are we doing with the Orioles, please?
It's a great story. It's his show.